What's going on? It's the cheapest wrestler in the world, Matt Rivera, and today is a follow-up from our WWE Battlegrounds trailer review, preview, I'm not sure what you want to call it, but it's a follow-up to that video where I'm talking about 13 features that should return in WWE 2K22. Now, as most of you know, 2K21 was unfortunately canceled and they replaced it with a game called Battlegrounds. But I feel like there's a lot of things that should be returning in WWE 2K22 that would make the game a whole lot better. But before we get into that, I just want to remind you guys to please smash that subscribe button. And while you're at it, a lot of people tend to tell me, oh man, I didn't realize your video was coming out. It's been out for days and I had no idea. So make sure you ring that bell as well. And yeah, stay tuned for all of my videos. And let's dive right in, shall we? Here we go. 13 features that should return in WWE 2K22. Number 1, create a finisher. So this was a really cool, I believe it was in WWE 2K13 where this debuted, and it was really awesome. You can create your own finisher, and that includes a setup move, like some people like to do the kick to the gut before the stunner or the pedigree. And or you can do something completely unique, like a punch to the head, an eye rake, and you can pick different ways to lift an opponent, maybe transition it to something else. For example, maybe you go to throw someone on your shoulders, but then you decide you want to kind of end it in a jackhammer, maybe like something Keith Lee does. So there's a lot of different things you can do to it. You can make it so certain parts of the maneuver you're putting together are slowed down. So you could do something like, let's say Goldberg with his jackhammer. He kind of puts you in that front headlock position, but then he stalls for a little bit. He lifts you up, he stalls, so it's really cool to work with the speed of the move. You see here, this guy's doing a whole bunch of different transitions and ends it with that drop. Something else this was really cool for was if you had someone who was not in the WWE, you can create their moves for them when you make a new character, or you can add an inverted version of a move that's already there. Like I had Triple H use a top rope pedigree as a secondary finisher. Number 2, more gimmick matches. It seems like there's been so many gimmick matches that were removed from the previous games. Like right here, this is pretty dope. A buried alive match. Like that is so awesome. You see The Undertaker made these matches really famous. Buried alive right here, we see Jeff Hardy versus Mr. Kennedy. And this is really cool. The object of the match is just to basically incapacitate your opponent enough that you can put them in this casket and seal it shut before they can get back out. So you see right here, Jeff Hardy's about to close it on Mr. Kennedy, and let's see what happens. Yeah, oh, not so fast, Jeff Hardy. So Mr. Kennedy comes back out. You see Jeff Hardy throw him in for a second time, and you know, you have this gauge on the left. Well, rest in peace. That's a wrap for Mr. Kennedy. So he did not hit that gauge in the right way, and he ended up getting the casket closed on him. And to top it all off, literally the icing on the cake, well, I guess not literally, this is the dirt on the casket, but the crane's going to dump that dirt. And this was just one of the many cool matches that haven't really returned in future games that I would love to see make a comeback. So right here is one of many gimmick matches. I'm going to give you guys maybe like 5 or 6 that I would love to see come back, but the casket match is definitely up there for me. All right, Jeff Hardy, yeah, I see you, okay. Little celebratory, you even spit on him, which, damn, that's hate right there. Triple H, what are you getting out of the back of a dump truck, man? Don't dig in the garbage, Triple H. Don't do that. Ugh. But anyway, this is a parking lot brawl. You see Triple H is giving Matt Hardy the business right now. So in this match, you're basically surrounded by a bunch of different vehicles. And those vehicles are trapping you in a, I guess, enclosed space, a little circle. And you look at this, he's climbing up the fire truck. How cool is that? Boom, drops an elbow. Perfect elbow on Matt Hardy. But the object of this match is to knock out your opponent. There's several ways of doing that. You can either use like an environmental knockout, where let's say you smash their head through a limo, or throw a person in the back of a dump truck. Or you can just knock them out by, I think, maybe using your finisher, like the pedigree, if they're in a weakened state. So there goes Matt Hardy. This does not look safe at all. I'm pretty sure Matt Hardy's dead. I don't think you can survive being crushed by a garbage truck, but there you go, KO. That's a parking lot brawl. As you see the fire around the ring, can only guess that this is an Inferno match, which we've seen a few of them in the WWE. I think the last one, and I could be wrong about this, but the last one that I can remember is actually Kane versus MVP. And MVP lost that match, caught on fire. But this was a really dope match. Basically, every time you slam an opponent, the Fahrenheit of the fire and how much the flames rise increase. And you basically, I believe you have to get it to, 500? And then you're able to finish off an opponent. I believe you needed a finisher and to drag them towards the edge of the ring. So it's just another cool match. Just something else to throw some uniqueness in the mix. And there goes, it looks like Undertaker. Oh no, Taker, you're on fire, man. Put that out. Put that out. But this is an Inferno match. This is something I would definitely love to see make a return. Very cool match type. All right, let's see what we have next. Yeah, that's the dead man. Show her some respect. There we go. Kane celebrating in the ring. Okay. I love this stuff. Next, we have a first blood match. So obviously the blood mechanics have changed a lot. Things have gone very PG. They're not as graphic as they once were. But I still think a first blood match would be really cool to have. Right here you see Triple H versus, I believe it's Chavo Guerrero. He's about to take a pedigree. Let's see if this makes him bleed. No blood yet. But you see he's working on the head. The idea of this match is to work on the head enough that it's red, and that might end up making some blood come out when you do an intense move like a headshot, like a chair shot, I should say. Yeah, Triple H wins. So that's it. Chavo Guerrero's now bleeding, which makes Triple H the victor. It's in the title, first blood match. Would love to see that make a return. All right. What is next? I'm trying to give you guys the pros and cons of both match types and events or whatever, and kind of just give you guys a little bit more than just, hey, number 4, first blood match, and then it moves on to the next thing. Slobber knocker. So the object of a slobber knocker, we see it a lot in wrestling. They're often called gauntlet matches. But the slobber knocker, I believe, had a minimum of 30 people to defeat. So right here you see Great Khali. I believe he just beat Cesaro. And who's this? Looks like we have Macho Man in the ring now. And the object is to run through every single person. Sometimes, if you're being really competitive, you could try to do it in a certain time limit. But running through, I guess, depending on how many people are in it, usually 30, you want to beat every single person. And the longer you go on, obviously, the weaker you become. So it becomes more and more challenging. Since the Great Khali right now, he's going on his third opponent. It looks like Andre the Giant. Double hand choke slam, and Andre the Giant's eliminated just like that. Oh man, I don't think Khali can beat Andre the Giant if this was the real deal. I don't think so. Here comes, Brodus Clay just took the chop. And let's see if he can go through the fourth person. Ooh, he lifts him up again. Khali's going for that double hand choke slam. Bam! All right, that's a big boy. He just lifted him up like nothing. But Slobber Knocker was definitely a cool one. Speaking of it, there was one game, and I want to say it was Just Bring It, where I believe if you were the Undertaker and you defeated 100 opponents or something like that, you were able to unlock Fred Durst, which was really cool. Something silly like that, to me, is very awesome. This one is a mixed tag match. Now, to me, this should definitely be in the new game because they have, their whole mixed match, whatever they call it, mixed match challenge, where they have intergender tag matches, So this should absolutely make a return. It kind of just makes sense at that point. There's a lot of WWE couples, so I feel like you can have a pretty cool tournament using them. Have like The Miz and Maurice versus, if you're playing the game, Natalya and Tyson Kidd, or Jimmy Uso and Naomi. So there's a lot of different combinations that might be pretty cool when you play this mode. But it's another thing, I know they've shied away from having intergender matches in the games because they don't want men to be hitting the women. However, doing a mixed tag match where maybe you have to tag out, or as soon as you do, it automatically switches that person for you so the men aren't wrestling the women. That's something that I think they should be looking into. Special guest referee match. Okay, this was always really fun to do, especially if you wanted to screw over one of your good friends. And I believe in certain games you have a little more control over the referee as opposed to some other games. Like right there, you just saw Hulk Hogan completely stop his count and screw over the person playing. So that's awesome. A lot of times you can be in control of the rope breaks. So if someone's holding a submission, you can count 1, 2, 3, 4. You can count as fast or as slow as you want. You can usually stop someone from doing something illegal, which might cause a distraction and have the other person take advantage of that. Like I believe just then it looked like Hulk Hogan was yelling at, I believe that's Randy Orton. Maybe? I don't know. It's actually hard to tell on my screen who it is. But yeah, you do look at that fast count. Hogan just did the fastest count ever. Screwed over whoever Randy Orton beat. I couldn't even tell. But yeah, completely screwed him over. That was always fun to do when you were playing the games. So definitely need to bring back special guest referees. Absolutely. Let's see what's next. Championship Scramble. This is one of my favorite games to play. Now, the object of the Championship Scramble, usually there was 5 people in the match. Now, no one starts, well, I'm actually trying to think. Does it start off with no one being the champ? Yeah, I believe no one starts off having the title in the match. But the first person to make a pinfall or submission becomes the champion. Now, you have a certain amount of time to last in this match. I believe it's 20 minutes. A new person comes out every 2 minutes, and at the end of 20 minutes, the match is over. But the last person to make that pinfall or submission victory is the person who has the title. So basically, you want to make sure you hold on to that title until the time limit has run out. So right now, we see Brock Lesnar. He's hustling in there. He probably wants to get his hands on whoever has that title. Again, it actually doesn't matter who has the title. You can beat anyone within the match to obtain the title. So right here, it looks like Brock Lesnar. Yes, Brock Lesnar did it. He is now fighting Cesaro, who I believe is the last person to come out. Let me see. It looks like there's only 4 people. I can't remember if you can put an edit on how many people are in the match, but I don't think so. I think it's always 5, but anyway, that's the Championship Scramble. Story Designer. So this is a mode you either used or you didn't use. So I can understand why it wasn't in some of the more recent games, because Story Designer is extremely tedious, and only if you're a creative type of person, if you don't mind spending hours to create something really cool. Otherwise, this would not interest you. I was one of those people who liked to create characters and spent a lot of time on something like this. So Story Designer, you would literally you pick your champions, you pick what wrestlers you want involved in your storyline. You can, like right here, they're having a segment where Michael Cole and Sheamus are talking in the ring about who knows what. You decide. So you'll put the text in there for that person. You decide the camera angles. You decide the facial expressions of the people involved. Who's going to be involved? What's going to happen? How is that going to play out? Sheamus going to put his hands on Michael Cole? Is it just going to be an interview? You can choose the options of choices and how those choices affect your path. Because you might have, okay, question A can lead to answers 1 or 2, and maybe that leads to a whole different storyline. So sometimes you can even make it way more creative than the stories that the game gives you originally. And I used to have a lot of fun with this. I would put my friends' created characters in the most awkward backstage situations, some of the most difficult match types, some matches where it's like, oh, you know, if you do this, you'll face The Undertaker at WrestleMania. And they're like, oh man, I can't wait to face The Undertaker at WrestleMania. However, if you lose, you'll be involved in a 40-man over-the-top battle royale where you have to come out first to earn a shot at the 24/7 championship. And they'd be like, well, one of those sound way better than the other. And obviously they would bust their ass to try to fight The Undertaker. But I didn't tell them that it was a 3-on-1 handicap match. So it's a lot of different things you could do. You can have a lot of fun with it. I've seen a few different storylines that people have created on YouTube and whatnot, and they're usually really clever. I think one was like Brock finds a time machine and he goes back and to his old matches and tries to redo them or something along those lines. But you can have a lot of fun with it, especially if you're a creative type, or if you feel like WWE maybe has dropped the ball on a few different things and you're like, you know what, I could have done that better. I could have made a better story. Well, here's your opportunity to prove it. So I hope this is a feature that returns in 2K22, but I can see why they took it out, because it probably takes so much data All right, here, what's Mark Henry doing? Oh, Mark Henry, watch out, bro. Somebody just blew up your car. All right, look, we see some text. Ooh, sounds like someone's threatening Mark Henry. However, we don't know who it is. There's usually a little face next to that. What's here? Oh, no. Kofi Kingston says, John Cena, not today. You are getting in this coffin. And he's probably going to close that shut on Cena. Bye, Cena. But here's are just some examples of things you can do in the story designer mode. Very cool stuff. More crowd interactions. I know in the latest game you can go into the crowd. However, the fighting is very, very limited. I wish they kind of expanded on that a bit. This was an awesome feature I loved. In any match that involved weapons or no DQ, you were able to get items from the fans or weapons from the fans. I always thought that was a little, something pretty cool. You see here, there's a nice open space for the wrestlers to fight. You're able to get the soda, throw the soda in that guy's face, and he's like, my eyes are burning. It's poison soda. You can see here, you can do fan taunts, which I believe raised your meter in order to get a finisher. So, if you're the baby face, you're cheering with the crowd. Yeah. If you're the heel, Randy Orton pretends to give a backhand to somebody. Baby faces grab the signs and they're like, yeah. I'm pretty sure heels would rip the signs, but it was just a cool added feature to the game. There you go. Randy Orton rips the sign, Legend Killer. Extreme Blood. Now, I know we touched on blood earlier before. Now, I believe there's still blood in the games. However, it used to be really intense. Like, if you had someone's head to the red and they were busted open, you can get it to almost like a dark purple. And the blood would be on the mat, it would be on their chest. If you were hitting the opponent, it would actually end up being on your face and neck and chest, which to some people I guess was a little too graphic, but I thought it was pretty cool. Number 6, Hell in a Cell door. Now this is a really simple one, but I feel like I enjoyed the Hell in a Cell matches way less once they got rid of the door. Yeah, I want to kick open that door. Let's be honest. You want to climb the top of that cell almost right away. Like, 90% of the time, you just hey, honestly, I just want to throw someone off the cell. Like, look at this. Woo! Chokeslam from off the cell. That was epic. That's what I want to play this mode for. I want to put someone through. I want them to try to do a high-flying move into the announcer's table, go through the middle of the cage. That's why I play Hell in a Cell, man. Let me get through that door. Number 7, table interactions. So, this has got conflicting reports. Some people say you can still stack tables like this. Like, look at this. There's 4 tables in the ring right now. And Chris Jericho just went through all of them. Oh my gosh. Superplex off the ladder into, multiple tables. Really dope. It's always fun when you're playing the game and you're able to put someone through a table. It's just feels really good. You're like, yeah, look at that. Look how many tables I can smash you through. But another aspect of it that's really changed, I feel like now you have to set up the tables pretty much perfectly. If you want someone to go through it, if you want it in the corner, there can't be a mistake. I miss when you can do this. Go through half set up tables. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect at all. Look at this. It's on the bottom rope. And Dolph Ziggler was able to do the famouser and put him through the table. I miss those days. Having to make sure that the tables are immaculately positioned, it's just kind of annoying, honestly. So, table interactions are definitely something I think can be improved on. I noticed, watching these players go through the mode, it reminds me a lot of myself, because sometimes I would just throw in all these weapons that I could into the ring just to see how many times I can slam someone on the stairs, how many times I could put someone through tables. But table interactions to me are really, really important, because you hear the fans all the time. We want tables. It's fun to put people through tables. It looks cool, feels cool, makes a cool noise. So when it's difficult to do, it kind of is a little off-putting. It's a little look at this. This is, bam. Look at that. They're just going through tables left and right. That's way more fun than, it collapsing on you and it glitching and falling down awkwardly and being awkwardly positioned for you to try to pick it up again and do that over and over and over again. No more glitchy tables. Let's just put through half set up tables. I think that's a way better option. Number 7, table interactions. 8, importing your own music. So, I forgot exactly which game this started with. It might have been 2K13 also, where you were able to upload your own music. So, for example, my character came out to Nelly #1. You know, what does it take to be #1? And it was pretty cool. And if I remember correctly, also in the jukebox option, so when you were able to put your own music also. So it wasn't just for entrance themes. You were able to use it just for your general loading screens and menu screens, and you would hear whatever music you wanted. So they should bring that back. Number 9, create a taunt. So create a taunt, some people didn't care for this feature. I thought it was a nice little addition. However, I can see why they took it out. Very tedious, very time consuming, and I'm sure used a lot of data. So the way this would work is you would pick expressions for your characters. There was almost like create a finisher where there was different kind of like stages and transitions as you go through it. But you could pick what each arm is doing, what the head is doing, what the legs are doing. So like, for example, if you want, you know, to let's say there's a taunt already in the game where a person looks angry and he goes to give someone a backhand. You can make it to where it's a backhand and then they just like point and laugh at the person. So that could be a taunt that you make where you're like, man, that would be cool if it was in there, but it's not. But now it is. So you could do angry face backhand to laughing at the person after, maybe like taking a few back steps, you know? So create a taunt is definitely something that's great for customizing a character. If there's someone who isn't in the WWE but you want to put them in the game but they don't have a taunt that they do, you might be able to make one to fit them just like you would a finisher. It just ups the level of customization and really kicks it into a new gear. Alright, so that's number 9, create a taunt. Number 10, general manager mode. So to be honest, this isn't one of my favorite things. General manager mode, it starts off with you getting a text from Vince McMahon, which essentially says, hey, you better kick some butt as a general manager or you're fired. And you are a general manager. You pick the matches. You have to set up a show. The goal is to set up a show based on rivalries, based on having to pay wrestlers and contractual obligations to them. But sometimes you might see like Shawn Michaels and Triple H, and you notice they have a lot of chemistry together and they put on 5-star matches. So that's something that you might want to include. And it's not just matches, it's segments and programs leading up to a pay-per-view. But long story short, you have all these different ways, these little meticulous, tedious ways people get injured if you use them too often. And it really brought a different element to the video game, especially if you were tired just doing tired of doing exhibition matches, or you did season mode and you're like, all right, well, what else is there to do? So it kind of brought some new flavor to the game. But like I said, you either loved it or you hated it. It's either you spent the time playing it or you really just didn't care. I enjoyed it, but not enough to bring back. But other people, if I was scrolling online, going through YouTube to see what they missed, what they thought should be brought back. In general manager mode, there was a really popular option. A lot of people put it as their #1 thing that they would like to see return. For me, I could live without it, to be honest with you. I put it on this list because so many people felt so strongly about it. But that's general manager mode in a nutshell. You create a rivalry, you see you see Legend Killer, that's 5 stars. You want to do as many 5-star things that relate to your rivalry as possible to gain interest. That lets you know how many people watched it, how many people liked it, if it was a 5-star match or a 2-star match. So there was many elements that went into this. And to be honest with you, I don't even know if you're watching this and you've beaten general manager mode, let me know, because I don't really know how it ends. Oh, this is a big one for me. Exaggerated finishers. So watch this. So this is Brock Lesnar's old F5, right? Boom! Bubba Ray almost lost his boots right there. And here's the second one. Watch how Bubba Ray, man, it's like he glides in the air for a second. I love those finishers. This one, check this out. It's a little more realistic. I thought that one was pretty cool. That one wasn't bad. But I enjoy these stylized finishers. Not that they look fake, but they look like the best version of that move that you've ever seen. Bam! Look at that chokeslam from Kane. He even kind of does like the arm afterward, and the guy flips over. And it was very, very much a Kane chokeslam. So, I love the sound on that. But the moves, look at this. That exaggerated rock bottom. Boom. With the hand that goes up afterwards. But then let's check out this rock bottom in WWE 2K20. To me, it's just not as good. It's not as exaggerated. Doesn't look as intense. Like, that was okay. That was an okay rock bottom. Look at this stunner. Bam! He does a whole backflip like The Rock used to. Look at this one. Bam! And then afterwards, he gives him the finger, gets in his face, talks some trash. Now let's look at the stunner now. To me, and then this, meh, not that great. Check out this pedigree. Boom! Landed right on his head. Let's see this other one. This is the variation of the pedigree. And I believe this one, he completely gets spiked. Oh, man. Like, look at that. Even Triple H has to poof afterwards. So let's see how it looks in the new game, just to compare. Doesn't look nearly as intense, man. Number 12, Road to WrestleMania, updated. So, Road to WrestleMania was, when you started the game, you would have a handful of different storylines, and they would feature a different wrestler. This one's obviously Christian. There was some with John Morrison, R-Truth, I believe DX, meaning Triple H and Shawn Michaels. There was a Chris Jericho storyline, and they're all unique. And usually the storylines were actually really good. And you were almost like, was this a throwaway storyline? Was this going to be in the WWE, but it just never happened? Personally, I think a lot of them are, because they're pretty damn good. For this, you were able to walk around backstage, interact with wrestlers, and do your own wrestlers.
Dude, we totally
story
fooled the
mode.
player into thinking
So let's
we
check this
weren't
out
going
here.
to reunite.
I know, we totally... Wait a minute. Player? What player?
See, they're breaking the fourth wall
You see
here.
that weirdo staring at us through the TV?
This is great. I love this. This is awesome.
No, but I'll take your word for it. Let's go through the checklist. Big sunglasses?
Check.
So in this game,
Polished white teeth for the benefit of those with flash photography?
there's something really cool that
Check.
happens with Edge and
Totally
Christian.
lame opponents that are gonna get their butts kicked tonight?
The dead guy and his burnt red brother? Check.
This is great. I love this
think that
banter.
does
Sorry
it.
I keep stopping, but I
Not
listen to this
just
banter and
yet.
I'm like, this is pretty
I
cool.
added something to the checklist.
So in this mode as
Kazoos.
Christian,
Dude,
you talk to certain
how could
people
we
and
have
you get
forgotten the
parts.
zoo?
I'll never forget this. You get
Kazoos
parts of a
rule.
time machine.
I know.
And
Now
Edge
hit it.
builds a time machine.
Undertaker's dead.
Look at this. That's great.
He is really, really dead.
And they build a time machine, and that's how you unlock their old school Edge and Christian attire. But I love that. What a cool little Easter egg. And man, I just missed that mode. Number 13. This is probably the biggest one for me. Stage dives, Easter eggs, secrets, and more. So just watch this. This is from Here Comes the Pain, I believe. And this is just the backstage area. So F5, bam, right on top of the cage. That looks sweet. Oh my gosh, he fell off. And just like everything that you interact with when you watch this, like, all right, I think Brock Lesnar's trying to open, bam, that garage door. You see the boxes come out and run over Kurt Angle. Look at that. It's almost like a mini Hell in a Cell backstage. Like, the way things used to be so interactive, and it made it so fun to play. And to me, that's the biggest thing missing from wrestling games. You need that little hint of unrealistic play to make it more fun. So let's check this out. Watch shooting star press off of a car. And now F5, boom, car explodes. You see the tires go everywhere? I love this sort of stuff. This is a Falls Count Anywhere match. Brock Lesnar stealing the Undertaker's motorcycle. And watch what he ends up doing to the referee. Just yokes him up, grabs him by the neck, and is dragging him around. This just makes a game more fun to play. So I don't think wrestling games need to be crazy unrealistic, but just a little hint of this. Look at that. On top of the truck, Kurt Angle goes flying off the truck, and it just makes the game more fun. You want to do a move off of something really high and see if you can land it. Eddie Guerrero's climbing a building in New York City. You see this? And he almost I don't know what he was aiming for, but he almost landed on that limo. But this is the kind of stuff that I miss the most from wrestling games. And I want to ask you, what do you guys miss the most? Do you agree with any of these the things on this list? Am I really off? Am I really on? RVD, look at that. Kane just put him in a shopping cart and just chucked him as far as he could. They're Edge and Christian in a bar. Like, you were able to just go into different places. This is the kind of stuff that I feel like wrestling's really missing. It makes you want to explore. It makes you want to try something new. It makes you want to keep playing the game. Gameplay's exciting. This is a boiler room right here. I believe, if I remember correctly, somebody falls off the edge. Look at that, Ric Flair. Whoop! Just tossed him right off the edge. No big deal, right? But these sort of things made games more fun to play. And I'm telling you, this is the biggest thing that needs to return in 2K22. We need to see more of that fun gameplay, just more. It just needs to be more of a video game. Like, and I get it. I get that they wanted to make things more realistic and more like, you know, what you see on TV. But going that extra mile for just Vince McMahon throwing a snowball at Undertaker, going that extra mile really makes all the difference. It makes it fun to play. So I think the 2K franchise, they really need to start thinking of how can we make this a little more fun and add these little Easter eggs, these subtle things that make you want to keep coming back for more. Rob Van Dam just stole the Undertaker's motorcycle. Yeah, he's pissed. Look at this, climbing the chair of the King of the Ring, the throne, I should say. And of course he could do moves off of this. Look at that. The referee and Jeff Hardy just fell and crashed and burned big time. So did Rob Van Dam apparently. But like, if you do it right, you can hit the 5-star frog splash off the top of that. You can hit the Swanton bomb. Look, they're fighting in the street with traffic going by. They're climbing to the very top of this building in Manhattan. Clearly it's Manhattan. Times Square area. Woo! Oh, he tried to land it, but he couldn't land that 5-star. That would have been sweet if he did. So these are just different things that you can do and different reasons why I miss old school wrestling games. But that was 13 things that they should include in WWE 2K22. So what do you guys think? Am I on? Am I off? Am I right? Am I wrong? I'm curious to see what you guys think. So make sure that you've engaged in the chat. If you have anything to add, this is the time to add it. Let me know. And let me know if I was off. You could just drop it in the comments. And don't forget to smash that subscribe button and ring that bell. Till next time, I'm the cheapest wrestler in the world. Take it easy. You're fired.